Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to work through a grade 11 level trig reduction formula question, and I'm just going to show you guys how I get these and how you can get full marks in these questions. Usually you will get one of these questions, it can count 6, 7, even 8 marks for one of them, so it's a really good question to make a lot of marks up on. Okay, firstly, they're saying we need to simplify this. So what you're going to do is wherever you see brackets with an angle in those brackets, you need to figure out which quadrant those angles are in. So I'm just going to draw a small Cartesian plane here so that we have something to refer to. We know that in quadrant 1, all of the trig ratios are positive. In quadrant 2, sine is positive. In quadrant 3, tan is positive. And in quadrant 4, cos is positive. So we call this the cos diagram because of C-A-S-T. So cos, you start in the bottom right-hand corner and then you go all the way around. Now what you also need to know is the angle values here. So that is 0 degrees, that is 90 degrees, that is 180, that is 270, and then when you're going all the way back to 0, you will get to 360 degrees as well. Okay, so if we're looking at the first angle here, we have a 3, so I'm actually just going to rewrite that 3. So I'm going to say 3. Now I need to decide whether cos of 180 plus x is positive or negative. Now 180 degrees, you're going to go to your 180 degrees over here, plus x. Now the x, we always assume that that is an acute angle, so an angle that's smaller than 90. So if I am at 180, I'm going to add an acute angle to it. Guys, if I add any angle that's smaller than 90, it can be 80, it can be 10, it can be 30, it doesn't matter. Any acute angle, if I add it to 180, that will end up in the third quadrant. So 180 plus x is in quadrant 3. Now we need to think, what is cos in the third quadrant? Cos in the third quadrant, well, only tan is positive. That means that cos is negative. So this is going to become negative cos of x. So you drop that 180 plus once you take the sign in the third quadrant. And now we're basically going to do that same process for the other 3. So let's go. Let's look at 360 minus x. So 360, as we said, is this line over here. But now, guys, when you are subtracting, you're moving in the other direction. So when you're adding, you're moving counterclockwise. When you're subtracting, you're moving clockwise. So we are at 360. Now we're going to subtract an acute angle. That will land up in the fourth quadrant. Now, what is sine in the fourth quadrant? Cos is positive. That means that everything else, all the other trig ratios, sine included, will be negative. So like I said here, 360 minus x is quadrant 4, and sine is negative. So that is going to become negative sine x. Okay, on to the next one. Sine of 360 plus x. Okay, so we add 360. Now we're going to add an acute angle. That is in quadrant 1. All the trig ratios are positive in quadrant 1, including sine. So if we have quadrant 1 here, this is just going to become positive sine x. So positive sine x. Okay, for the last one now, we're working with cos and it's 180 minus x. So at 0, we go around to 90. There we are at 180. And now we have to subtract an acute angle. That will end up in the second quadrant where cos is negative, right? Sine is positive here, meaning that all the others will be negative. So this is going to become negative cos x. Okay, you can also just write there that that is in quadrant 2. Now we can start cancelling things out. So if we actually take a look at what we have here, we have a negative cos x at the top, a negative cos x at the bottom, so those will cancel each other out. We have negative sine x and positive sine x, so those will also cancel each other out. I'm left with 3 times negative 1, so my final answer here is 3 times negative 1, which is negative 3. This question will count, let's see how many marks. You always get 1 mark per reduction. So you will get a mark for negative cos x, a mark for negative sin x, a mark for the sin x, a mark for the negative cos x, and then a mark for your final answer. So this question would be worth 5 marks. Alright, thanks for joining, guys. Please subscribe if you haven't already, like and share this video, and let me know in the comments what else you need help with.